Hello, boys and girls and students, and of course, families. Welcome, welcome, welcome for another adventure with UNF's First Lady, Maria Szymanski. Our magical storytelling time is here, right here. So get really, really comfortable. All right, here we go. Here we go. I brought a picture with me today. And there's a reason why I brought this picture. It is a picture of animals that live in the forest. Let me back up a little bit so maybe you can see it all. The forest or in the woods. Some of my characters live in the forest and live in the woods. So you might see some of them. Take a look at them and see which ones you might see in the story. So this is the setting of the story. It is out in the woods or out into the forest. And some of our characters are in this picture. And the main character is going to be about a bear. About a bear. All right. So let me get my book out. Let me get my book. First, before I show you the title, I'm going to read you what the story is going to be about. Okay? So it's about a bear. When Bear bakes some yummy, yummy cupcakes, because Valentine's is coming up soon, his friends all want to taste. I want to taste. I want to taste. All of his friends are saying, Bear is a great baker, boys and girls, but you know what? He's not so good in sharing. He's not so good in sharing. So our question is, before we read our story, will Bear ever share? Let's say it together. Will Bear ever share? And it ends with a question mark. So we have to read the story before we can answer the question. So here is the picture of the story. The title is The Bear Who Would Not Share. The Bear Who Would Not Share. The bear who would not share. So let's get inside the book and see what it says. Now, boys and girls, Bear had spent the whole morning baking cupcakes and had covered them in yummy, yummy frosting. Such yummy frosting. They looked and they smelled delicious. And this is what the bear said. My cupcakes look and smell delicious. And this is the way his cupcakes looked. They looked delicious. They smelled delicious and amazing too. Very amazing. Now Bear was admiring his cupcakes. He was admiring them when there was a knock at the front door. There was a knock at the front door. A knock at the front door. Let's see who it was. Let me go get our character. Give me a second. Okay, I'm coming back. He flew away from me. He flew away from me, so I had to go catch him. Hello, Bear. Hello, Hello, bear, said Owl. Miss Szymanski didn't have an owl, but she had a little bird like this. Hello, bear. Hello, bear, said Owl. I was flying and I couldn't help but notice your delicious smell. You have such a delicious smell coming from your house. I smelled it. I don't suppose that you would like to share. Would you like to share some yummy cupcakes with me? As he's leaning over the door, trying to get in. And they're covered in frosting. As he peered as the cupcakes, as he saw them in the kitchen, trying to get in. All of a sudden, you hear, no, no, N-O exclamation mark. The bear said, no, no, N-No. He said it loud and he said it with excitement. N-No, no. That's what Bear said. Now, somebody else comes. As Bear started to clear up the mess, there was a mess in his kitchen that he'd made while he was baking. There was a second knock at the door. A second knock at the door. Let's see who it was. Let's see who it was. That's strange, said Bear. I don't usually have that many visitors. But Bear opened up the door. Look at that. He usually didn't have this many knocks. He didn't have that many visitors. He was cleaning up. Do you see his little towel over his paw? He was cleaning up. But at the door was a fox. A red, kind of brownish fox. Here's the fox. Knocking at the door. Let's see what the fox wants. Let's see. He was very surprised. He said, I'm so surprised to see a fox at my door. That usually does not happen. He was very surprised. He said, hello, Bear, said the fox. Hello. I was walking by and I couldn't help but notice the delicious smell that was coming from your house. I was just walking by. It was a delicious smell. He said, I don't suppose that you would share one of your yummy cupcakes that's covered with frosting. Would you share that cupcake that's covered with frosting with me? Now, as she stared at the cupcakes, by peeking inside the door as much as she could, she really wanted some of that cupcake with that wonderful frosting. No, said the bear. No, N-O, loud with expression. No. There he is. No, N-O, no. Oh, no. As he's cleaning up, look how he's cleaning up with his towel, kitchen towel, over his paw, because he made a little bit of a mess. Now, Bear went back to cleaning the kitchen and had almost finished when he heard the sound of knocking on his front door again. Hello, Bear. Hello, Bear. Let's see who this character is. Hello, Bear, said the little rabbit. Hello, Bear. Hello, Bear. Hello, Bear. I was hopping by and I couldn't help the delicious smell coming from your house. I don't suppose that you would share one of your yummy cupcakes with me. You think you could? You think you could? And it's covered with all that frosting. As he admired the cakes on display, he wanted to share the cupcake with a bear. Now you think about what the bear might say. Let's see. And no, no, says bear. No, N-O, no. Let's see. No, N-O, no. He didn't want to share. He didn't want to share. That's what the bear said. Now the news was going around in all the woods. Everybody was listening and smelling and talking about bear and the cupcakes. Now, and they were talking about how they were covered in frosting. His cupcakes were covered in frostings. And Bear's friends, look at them. They all came to visit. The deer, look at all his little friends. They all came to visit the bear. They all came to visit the bear. And you know why they're there. And they would knock at his door. All of those characters, all those animals would do this. They would take turns. Some were loud knocks. Some were small like the rabbits. Some were medium sized. But the bear folded his arms. He took his stand. Look at that. He's inside his house with his back to his door. And guess what he's saying inside his house to those animals that are knocking on his door? And no, no. And no, no. Wow. No. And again, no, no, no. He took his cupcake and he walked and he walked and he walked and he walked and he walked. He wasn't sharing it. And all his animal friends were just kind of begging him, please let us have some. We're so hungry. We love that frosting. They would tippy toe behind him. Maybe he would change his mind. But no, no, no. He was not changing his mind. All right, let's see what happened next. After a busy morning of baking, Bear was feeling, see, he baked all these cupcakes. There's a picture of him and his cub. And look at this whole tray. 3-tier tray. He was making different colors, different designs, and lots of frosting on his cupcake. Lots and lots of frosting. He stopped to admire his cupcakes one more time. Then he went upstairs. Look at him, he's walking upstairs. He walked upstairs. He's so sleepy. He's so tired. He's walking upstairs to take a nap. You see, I'm so tired. I'm walking upstairs to take a nap. That's what he was doing. Let's see what happened in the meantime. You get one of my little puppets, Phil. Let me go get that one. And when Bear, look how he's sleeping. You see how he's sleeping? You can't even wake him up. He's sleeping so hard. So when Bear woke up from his nap, he's dreaming though. First, look, he's dreaming about how much he loves the cupcake. And he can't wait to eat it. Sometimes you dream like that, don't you? You dream about something you want to eat the next morning, just like the bear did. There's little hearts around the cupcake. And when he woke up, he was very hungry. He couldn't wait to eat one of his yummy cupcakes. He cannot wait to eat one of his yummy cupcakes that was covered in frosting. But Da-da-da-da-da-da. Look what happens next. But when he got downstairs, Bear could not believe his eyes. The yummy cupcakes were gone. Oh no, my yummy cupcakes are done. All that 3-tier plate set only had a few little crumbs, and all the cupcakes that he made with the frosting were gone. Oh no, oh no, my cupcakes are gone. His cupcakes were gone. All right, we'll see what happens next in the story. Bear raced outside. Rabbit, he said, have you seen my yummy cupcakes covered in frosting? Have you seen them? The rabbit said, nope, 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 nope. Haven't seen your cupcakes. Then he went to the fox. And he said, Fox, have you seen my yummy cupcakes covered with frosting? The fox goes, no. No. He didn't see him either. Owl, he said. Owl, have you seen my yummy cupcakes covered in frosting? Have you seen them? He said, no, no, no. He's asking all those animals. He's asking all his friends if they've seen his cupcakes that are covered with frosting. Then Bear saw his cub. This is his little cub. He saw his little cub. I'm the little cub. I'm the little cub. And the cub was holding one of his cupcakes covered in frosting. Let me show it to you. He was sitting on a little cut tree on the stump, and he was holding the cupcake, one of them, with frosting on top. That's what the bear saw. Look at it. He saw him doing that just like this. The little cub was on the tree stump and is holding a cupcake. That's what the bear saw. Now, Little Bear had seen the cupcakes and had decided to share them. Remember all those cupcakes that were in the kitchen in the bear's house? He found them and he shared them. Little Cub did. I shared them with all my animal friends. All the cupcakes that Big Bear made with all the frosting. I shared them. I shared them. All the little bears should have asked, right? We know that. We just don't take somebody's cupcakes. It was good that he shared them. We like that about him. But we have to ask before we take something and we share it. Bear could not be angry with him. See Bear right here? He said, I can't be angry with him. I can't be angry with him. Seeing all the happy faces covered in frosting, Bear realized that it was good. He said, it must be good to share. It must be good to share. It must be good to share. Then, I don't suppose that you would share your yummy covered cupcake and frosting with me, said Bear. Little Cub, will you share your little cupcake with frosting with me? Will you share that with me? Said Bear to the little cub. Will you share that cupcake with me? As he admired the last cupcake. Oh, I admire that little last cupcake that little bear cub is holding. I admire that. And let's see what happened at the end of the story. You can make an ending and see how you would end it. But the book has ended it like this. Y-E-S spells what, boys and girls? Yes, that's right. Yes. At the end of the story, Little Bear replied. He said, yes, I will share the cupcake with you. And at the end of the story, they shared, both of them shared the cupcake. Yum, 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 yum. They like their frosting. That's the end of our story. They shared the cupcake. That's a great ending. Well, they're both happy. We're both happy. We love cupcakes. We're frosting. We're frosting.